Okay, there's been a few times in this save already where people have said, Kev, what will you do if you get fired? You're supposed to be taking Nuneaton all the way to the Champions League. And I've always said, don't worry, I've got a plan for that. I don't have a plan. And now I'm genuinely starting to get a little bit worried because we are on the worst run of form I ever remember having in a game of Football Manager. I don't know what to do. Hello and welcome to part 20 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we've got our final two games of 2019. We're at home against York, at home against Stafford in the National League North. That's the National League North, that division we're in the bottom half of now. Look at the state of this run of form. I mean, even before that, it goes on. We had that, remember those days? They were great days. Since then, though, it just... We've won one game in the league since August. It's just, we've tried that, all of that was doing a 4-3-1-2. For some reason, I think it's because we had those two were maybe on an episode and we lost them. So we tried to do, all this time has been experimenting with a diamond or going back to the 3-5-2. I didn't realise until I just went through and looked at them all and thought, oh, you're an idiot. So today we go back to the 4-3-1-2. I mean, saving the season is long gone. We're 6 points away from the playoffs. We're 22 points behind top of the table York, and it's York that we play today. And just look at the state of that season. The board is still not sacking me, which is nice. The players are fed up of me. Dressing room atmosphere is poor. I don't know how many we've got. No one opposes me yet. But the board are still putting up with me for now. My position is stable, but we've signed some players as well. I was flailing around, just trying to figure out what to do. So I've signed 3 different players who can all play as a defensive midfield player. Taylor Maloney, who's not good enough to get in our team. We also signed Sam Togwell on loan. He's not good enough to get in our team. And we signed Joel Kaduba, who is not good enough to get in our team. And we're not going to use a defensive midfield player now anyway. So they were 3 cracking signings. We're going back to the 4-3-1-2. It's a slightly amended version of it because I've decided to use a Carrilero rather than a box-to-box midfielder just because it fills this area a bit more. If we've got Anderson on attack, then Elliott can just come across and tuck him back. That's my thinking anyway. But this is the team. If we don't win at least one of these games, I don't know how we come back from this. We've got Linus in goal, a back four of Anderson, Ercolani, Clark and Birch, a midfield of Elliott, Wheatley and George, with Nicholson in behind Tomlinson and Chambers. We're trying Chambers as an advanced forward rather than a poacher because he's been a poacher for ages and hasn't been doing any poaching. So he's apparently just as good at doing an advanced forward. So let's try him as an advanced forward, see if that gets some goals out of him. Oh, and to make matters worse, the leader of the dressing room revolution is Linus, our goalkeeper. So his morale is through the floor. He's had enough of me. Although apparently, according to dynamics, doesn't oppose me. But there you go, straight away. He's looking complacent. He thinks we should be doing better in the league. I said, yeah, you lot should be doing better in the league. And his response was, it's your fault. You keep playing this tactic we don't know how to do. And that's what spurred me on to go and look through and think, what are you talking about? We've tried all these different tactics. You're failing at all of them. But no, there was the one that worked. And as soon as we stopped using it, we started losing games. And hopefully, now we're back using it again, we'll win some more games. It's all because of that Chester game on the first day of the season, where it changed the game when we switched to the diamond. Even though we still lost, we looked a lot better with the diamond in play. So I've kind of not been able to get that out of my head. But now it has to get out of my head and we have to win a football match. And Jordan Nicholson is in. And it's 1-0 and it's top of the table York. And how different our outlook on this season could be if we can pick up 2 victories on this episode. Especially if one of them is against runaway leaders York. It does make me wish I could just reload and do this formation all season if this one ends up being the one that works. But I don't know, in my head, the diamond should be better than this because it's basically this, but with a deeper midfield player who's going to offer more protection when the fullbacks push on. And then the logic I always fall down this pit of broken logic, and I guess it is broken somewhere. I just don't really know how because Then, if once I do the diamond, so I start with this, and then I think, well, we're conceding too many goals. Let's drop back to a diamond. Right, that's still not working. But I guess if we're doing a diamond, we may as well do a 3-5-2. And then we go to that, and then my fullbacks, for some reason, despite when they play fullback, them wanting to be wing backs, they can't play as wing backs according to the position suitability, so they don't perform, and it just. I get wrapped around in circles with it, and I think what I need to do, I'm making this commitment to you all now. I am going to play 4-3-1-2 every game for the rest of this season, and if I get fired, then I'll hold my hands up and say it was a bad idea. But we need a settled team, and this is the only formation that has worked for us at any point this year. Nicholson has just grabbed his second of the game. It's the first time he's played as an attacking midfielder since that run of form earlier in the season. I'd been playing him as a playmaker because position suitability says that's the position he's best at, but he's not really turned up playing as an advanced playmaker. We're switching back to attacking midfielder, which he's been for the majority of the last 2 seasons, and he's got 2 goals in the first half. So that shows what the position suitability knows. I like the fact that Jordan Nicholson has single-handedly said, you know what, boss, forget what Dean in goal is saying. I think you're great. Let's go and save your job and save this club and push on for a promotion. Let this be the year. Let's get some momentum. There's George, and he really should have scored. It was good to see AJ George getting so far forward, but from that position, you've got to tuck it away or leave it to Ashley Chambers, who's hovering behind him. Right, 2-0 up at half-time against, and I will emphasise this again, the team who are 9 points clear at the top of the division, and we've won once in about 15 games. It is ridiculous. It's like the reverse of how the promotion season in non-league to legend was with Bath, where I would win all the games when you weren't looking and then lose whenever the camera was on. It looks like I've been through 2 hours of misery getting to the point where I could do this episode and just couldn't work out what I needed to do to get us to win a game. Turn the camera back on and just start talking about it and decide that, okay, I'm actually using my mouth rather than my brain, which has always been my strength. I've got to do something that sounds logical, even if I don't necessarily agree with it. Let's go back to that tactic that I don't think should work, but what do you know? It works, and there's Nicholson's hat-trick. He's had a good game, hasn't he? I hope looking at the stats, we are actually playing well. It's not just Jordan Nicholson having a wonder performance and masking the same old errors. We're genuinely playing well. Jordan Nicholson has played brilliant as well, but look at the swarm of blue shirts heading forward there. They had no answer for that. I know we're at home, but we're at home against the best team in the division, and we're absolutely thumping them. So hopefully this is a system we can now take on for a run of wins. We need a run of wins. We'll take off Coombe because he's picked up a knock. Everyone else is having a good game apart from Chambers, but we haven't got a second striker on the bench, so I'm not going to fiddle too much. We'll bring El Beckery on for AJ George because he actually suits that position a little bit better than George does. Although AJ George tends to have a better game. Again, it goes back to the whole position suitability thing, which I guess is another one of those things, just like the star ratings. 4-0 now, this is crazy. Just like the star ratings, I guess, does the position suitability thing, is that based on the ability of your coaching staff rather than just on the players themselves? So could it be that because my coaches aren't very good, are they judging that wrong? And is Jordan Nicholson actually better as an attacking midfielder, despite them saying he's better as a playmaker? Or is that something that's set in stone? There you go. If you're a tactics genius or a game genius, let me know. Chambers has just hit the crossbar. 20 minutes to go. We could have gone 5-0 up there, and that would have been crazy. Linus is looking frustrated. He probably is frustrated because we're winning 4-0 against top of the table team, and he was trying to make out that it was all my fault that we weren't doing very well. And I'm proving him wrong. Adam Lewis is fit again. I've just noticed. Adam Lewis, who was out, he was out starting left back all last year. Did his cruciate ligament. I didn't realise it was a recurrence of a cruciate ligament that he did at Liverpool. Was he at before? Yeah. So he might never recover properly. We probably shouldn't bring him on. Let's bring Togwell on in midfield. Why not? Bring him on for Elliott. He can be our Carrilero. And just close out the game, hopefully. Togwell was an absolute panic buy. Came up on my scout reports. I thought, he's 35, he's experienced. I've heard of him. Ercolani's offside there. He's not going to make it 5. But we haven't really given York the opportunity to get into this game at all. We have absolutely destroyed him. If we can do this every game for the rest of the season, we'll probably get promoted, albeit not automatically, because we've already ruined our chances of that. But the playoffs are still there to be won. Let's go win the play. Let's go beat Stafford first before I get too ahead of myself. But you have no idea how good it feels to have finally got a win under our belts, especially such a dominant win against the best team in the league. We might have the system. I think it's probably best we don't make any changes for the Stafford match. We did all right in that last one, so we'll just put the same team out again. And fingers crossed, we pick up a second win on the bounce for the first time since that. We won like 5 or 6 games in a row early on in the season. It would be lovely to put a run of form like that together again. But looking at the league table, stop moving the league table. What are we on? 31 points. We can move it. Wow, we can move at 1 space. Even back-to-back wins in this episode won't put us back up into the playoffs. We have a lot of rebuilding to do, and they're in behind. And Linus makes a save. There you go. He's decided he wants to cooperate. He's looking complacent again. He's going to be a problem. A couple of people have said in the comments that they don't actually think he's any good. I think he's a good goalkeeper, but certainly if his head's gone, we've got Owen Wheeler sat there on the bench. And anyone who watched that first season of Non-League to Legend this year with Alfreton knows some of the antics that Owen Wheeler's capable of. So we could bring him in. We could give him an opportunity. Chambers with a free kick on the edge of the area and this close. And Chambers looks like he's picked up a little bit of a knock. I'm not sure what's actually up with him. Let's have a little look. He has got FC United of Manchester, apparently. He's got... No, it's not going to tell us. AJ George has got an injury as well now. Elliott to Nicholson and Jordan Nicholson. His 4th goal of the episode. Jordan Nicholson does not want me to get fired. Jordan Nicholson does not want me to change tactics. And Jordan Nicholson has decided he's going to single-handedly drag us up the league and get us promoted. His contract's up at the end of the season, and I am in 2 minds. He's on nearly £1,000 a week in the Conference North. He is a massive luxury that I was toying with not keeping around. But if he maintains the kind of form he's in at the moment, he's going to be earning himself a new contract. Right, AJ George has got an upper body injury, as has Ashley Chambers. Well, neither of them seem to be struggling too much. We'll keep them both on for now. We do have pretty much like-for-like swaps for both of them sat down on the bench. So, I mean, Coombs isn't ideal to come on for Chambers. It would have been nice to have Willis down there, but Coombs will do the job. El Bekri for George is a change I probably would have made with 20 minutes to go anyway, just to get some more games into El Bekri, because I still don't understand why he's not a superstar for us, because he should be. Everything about him tells me he should be a superstar for us, and he's just not. But let's get him on and give him another opportunity, and we'll bring on Coombs for Chambers. I mean, he's not bad at doing that, but he prefers to be the defensive forward. And hopefully we can grab another goal or 2. It's weird that we can go and beat York 4-0 and then labour past Stafford. I mean, they're probably going to equalise late now just to ruin me. We're going to take off Wheatley and bring on Togwell to be that central defensive midfielder for us. And hopefully he just shores things up a little bit in there. And Elliott's got the ball loose in the area. And finally, there is a goal not scored by Jordan Nicholson. Now, I don't understand why Nicholson gets the assist for this. Corner comes in, and it's flicked on by Clark, hits one of their defenders, and then Elliott tucks it away. Why is that a Jordan Nicholson assist? We've had goals recently, I can't remember whether they were in this series or the other one, where players have been robbed of assists because of flick-ons. I don't understand. There's no consistency here, unless I just imagined Clark flicking it on, but that should be a Kenny Clark assist as far as I'm concerned. But Stafford have a corner. Linus trying to destroy me. He's trying to take us down from within. He's looking calm now, at least, rather than complacent. Kenny Clark should never have the ball at his feet like that. And Linus kicks it back to him. Oh, and they managed to miss. I mean, welcome to non-league football. That's what we saw there. That was just disastrous from everyone involved. Kenny Clark should never try and do anything other than kick it or head it a long way. Linus just doesn't care anymore, and their player managed to miss, despite having an open goal handed to him on a plate through sheer incompetence. Conference. No, but this is the league we can't get out of. It's too hard for us. I mean... Right, there's 3 minutes left. They're in behind and luckily miss dramatically again. And I mean, we've got away with it a little bit today. We've had 15 shots, but only four of them have been on target. We have controlled possession a little bit more than we did against York, but we've not played anywhere near as well. And I think I know we've ridden our luck a bit today when we've had 0 clear-cut chances. They've had 4. This is one of the bigger muggins of our time. If I was still tinkering with tactics, I'd be saying, oh, warning signs, warning signs. As it is, we're sticking to this all season now. We've done 2 back-to-back wins, and it's not looking quite so dirty as it did before. We've got a game in hand, and we're 6 points outside of the playoffs. So if we win that, we've given ourselves a lot to do in the second half of the season, but fingers crossed we're up to the task. We can scrape our way into the playoffs again and maybe this time win them. That'd be nice. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.